How are you enjoying
Yeah.
Spain?
Loving it so far. Loving it so far. I was in Madrid for the first few days and just had a wonderful time. I love the culture there. I love the cafe culture
Yeah.
and,
Slow
the
life.
tapas. It really is. It's slow life, but I will say they stay out really late,
Oh, do
you know.
they? Yeah.
So yeah, yeah, yeah. Had this Spanish lady keeping me out to like 2, 3 a.m.
That's not a bad
Literally
thing.
like eating tapas at like 2 a.m. But it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it.
I
Yeah.
love that. Yeah. And I bet
Yeah.
the weather there is fantastic.
The weather's good. Yeah. Now I'm down in Marbella where it's like, you guys use Celsius or Fahrenheit in Canada?
Celsius. We use
Okay.
both.
So it's,
Like my condo is in Fahrenheit, but outside is Celsius.
okay. Got you. So yeah, it's 21 and sunny today. So was
Oh,
able
that's
to go
nice.
out for a run and get a nice tan at the same time. So yeah, I'm liking it here.
That's good. That beats the 7-degree weather here. So,
Hey, man, I escaped it in Chicago because I've done one winter in Chicago, actually two, and when the summer comes to an end, I'm like, I know what's about to come. So let's just get out of here while I still can.
and are you planning on doing the entire winter in Spain or?
Yeah, so I actually am not going back to Chicago. I
Oh,
got
okay.
rid of my apartment. Yeah, so you can stay in Europe for 3 months without a visa.
Right.
That's my plan. And then I probably will go to Bali after that,
Ooh,
Southeast Asia. Yeah,
I
yeah.
like that.
Just
A lot of
gotta do
digital
the
nomads there.
cliche influencer, I know. But maybe sometimes things are a cliche for a reason. And I think that this might be one of them.
I think after that is Dubai. Is that where you graduate to after Bali?
I don't want to go to Dubai, to be honest. I
No?
mean, you're right, like the typical influencer progression, but the things that I love about traveling don't exist in Dubai. Like Dubai is very much just built for wealthy Westerners to have comfort and security.
Hmm.
So I don't feel like it's a place that would be particularly inspiring to me. And I have a lot of people in my network or friends of friends that are in Dubai and they like it for the taxes, they like it for the
Hmm.
safety elements. But I'd rather be sat out, on a street in Paris smoking and drinking coffee than in the Burj Khalifa or at this restaurant where everybody's just speaking English.
Yeah, I can relate to that. I think my heart is belonging in Europe. So I did an exchange there and I lived in Vienna for a little bit
Oh,
and
wow.
it was incredible. It was the best time of my life. Still friends there too. Some of my friends actually just moved to London. So would love to find my way back there.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
Vienna's incredible culture, great coffee culture as well. People just spend all day in cafes and great high culture too. A lot of operas, a lot of ball season just began actually. So it's an incredible place. I don't know if have you ever been?
I've not. I'm considering going there because I know a lot of people think it's the place to go at Christmas time in the winter.
It is.
Were you there in the winter or the summer?
I was there just after. When was I there? End of January, so just after Christmas. But they
Okay,
still had the
yeah.
market set up. They just didn't have all of the Christmas events. But it's literally like a winter wonderland. It's incredible. They have skating rinks that it's like pathways through this park right outside
Oh,
of their
wow.
town hall, and you can skate through that. You get hot wine. You get the sausages, Viennese sausages. It's great. It's
That
literally
sounds
like a fairy
cool.
tale, that city, and Austria in
Okay.
general.
You're selling me. You're selling me because I've had a couple of people sell me to go there. I
Yeah.
think it's easy when you have a cold winter. It's easy to you never want to go anywhere else that's cold. It's like
Mhm.
if I'm going to travel, I'm going to escape it. But maybe after 6 weeks, couple of months here, I'll be ready to go somewhere cold again. So yeah,
Yeah.
definitely looking at Vienna is very high up on my list.
I would definitely recommend it. I would say the best times of year to go. Best time of year is probably the Christmas season or June. For they have a big summer night concert because Vienna is known for one of the best philharmonic orchestras in the world. And they put on a
Mm,
free concert at the beginning of June at the big palace there. And it's free. You go sit on the hill and it's just an incredible experience. So,
that sounds
yeah,
cool. What's your relationship like? You're in Toronto, right?
correct.
What's your feelings about that city in general? Do you find it to be an inspiring place for your for your content?
It's a love-hate relationship, I'd say.
Hmm.
I love it because there's a lot going on here. There's a lot of hard workers in the city. My friend group here is amazing. I used to be in Ottawa, the capital of Canada, prior to this. That's
Hmm.
where I did school. Then me and my friends all moved up to Toronto during COVID because the Ottawa just died. So we came to Toronto, and yeah, it's a lot of competition here. It keeps you hustling and grinding, and there's a lot of great people to meet.
Hmm.
So it's a great city for that. The hate part is more, it's expensive. It's a lot of street style too, and
Yeah.
a lot of like similar to Dubai, and that it's a lot of like flexing, a lot of kind of new money type shallow lifestyle. Whereas like
Yeah.
Europe,
Yeah.
it's slow, it's culture. There's
Yeah. Yeah.
there's there's heritage and history there. Toronto, it's all kind of the same. It's all new stuff.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of like every major North American city
Hmm.
is it is superficial, and if people have money, they want to show it and flex on it, which is nothing necessarily wrong with.
Hmm.
Like I was in Madrid for 3 nights, 4 days, and I kind of noticed like there are no nice cars around. There are the Mercedes and BMWs, but I never saw a Ferrari or a Lamborghini or
Hmm.
a McLaren or anything like that, which you would see all the time in Chicago, for
Oh,
example,
really?
and in a place like Miami. I mean, they're ten a penny. It's like, is it even worth having one? But yeah, in Madrid, and I think that's partly as well because just in Europe, the way people drive and the way people park, people you can't afford to be as precious about your vehicle. People
Hmm.
don't have that kind of car culture, that pride in their cars as they do in the US. Like the car is such a status symbol, it's such a baby for people to have.
What same thing here in Canada. I think part of being a man is like getting a car and
Mhm.
having your own apartment. And so we have
Yeah.
such a huge car culture up here, but it's so bad to the point where Toronto traffic is one of the worst in the entire world. And on top of that, you don't see too many sports cars on the road these days because we have an issue up here with people stealing cars.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, and so especially in the GTA, people's cars get stolen all the time, and you see like the odd one, the odd Aston Martin rolling through the city or Corvette, but I think people are a lot more scared to just drive their cars
Mm.
around for fear of being damaged or stolen because the police don't do anything and then they go off to some other parts of the world.
Is that the same for watches? Would people feel comfortable wearing, expensive watches walking around?
You'd be okay wearing expensive watches. There's no issues here with mugging, not like London or so I've heard. So it's pretty safe to walk around, but I wouldn't be worried about like pickpocketing or anything like that. It's more just cars, and then you just have to keep your head down because if you go looking for trouble, you will find it. But if you don't, like, then you're fine. You know,
Yeah. Let's talk about the content, man,
let's
because
do it.
I know that you were actually in the kind of men's style industry before you decided to start making videos. So what were you up to back then, and what are you up to now, like kind of as the 9 to 5?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say I started my kind of fashion career and my background working at an off the rack suit store called Stars Men's Shop in Canada, and
Okay.
that was actually my first job in high school. And
Wow.
yeah, I worked there for 3 years in my hometown with a great group of men. And that's really where I learned how to tailor clothing properly and all the different things that you can do with a suit, how a suit should fit properly, the different outfit combinations that you can do, all of that kind of stuff. Did that for 3 years, and then I went off to school in Ottawa and switched to Indochino, which is a made to
Mm.
measure suit store, and worked there for about a year. And again, learned a lot about tailoring because it's made to measure, so it's a little bit different of a ball game. Learned more about fabric and all the different little details that you can add to a suit, whether it's buttons or stitching or all of these kinds of things. So many years ago, there's this 4-year block of just learning all the different foundations of menswear and of
Mhm.
suiting. And that was when I was in school. Did that for 4 years, and then took a break, did some traveling, finished up school, and then landed a job at Deloitte, which is where I was for the last 5 years. And there I did brand and corporate strategy. So
Okay.
very much working with big brands to help them rebrand and
Yeah.
implement marketing campaigns and all of that kind of stuff, digital marketing, and doing almost like what I'm doing today. Like I led a team of 7 people doing video creation, social media, all of this kind of stuff, and worked with copywriters and video editors. So it was a natural step to kind of go from that to YouTube. And
Yeah.
yeah. And so it when I got started on YouTube, it really wasn't that difficult in the beginning because I already had a background in this. It was just a matter of doing it and being okay, sucking first, and then getting through that and being
Yeah.
consistent. But that's what I did the last 5 years, and then left that job almost a year ago, and just been doing YouTube full time.
Oh, no way. Congratulations, man. That is great.
Thank you. Yeah, I
That
was.
is
Well,
great.
it's an interesting story because I was actually laid off at the end of last year. And I
Uh-huh.
survived the first 2 rounds of the layoffs at Deloitte. The firm went through a massive restructuring, and it ended up being a blessing in disguise because working at the firm was being overworked,
I
underpaid,
can
typical
imagine. Yeah.
typical corporate grind, and yeah, it was ended up being a blessing in disguise because then I had the time to dedicate myself to this YouTube while
Mm.
I do other things. So.
When you started the channel, was doing it potentially as a job or making money from it something that was a goal, or did you just do it more for the passion of it?
Mm. So I actually started my channel as a podcast. I don't know if you know this,
Oh, no, okay.
but basically back in 2023, I had this kind of realization when I was working at Deloitte that I just didn't want to do this the rest of my life.
Sure.
Uh, and I was like, okay, I need to do something outside of this to try and figure out where I want to take my life and what the next step is. And so it led me on this journey of just trying to figure that out. And my friend bought me this book. I actually have it right here. It's called Shaken, the official cocktail book of Ian Fleming and James Bond. Have you ever
Okay.
seen this?
No, I
It's
thought you
actually,
were gonna pull out like some self-improvement book then.
oh, no, no, no. It's literally like, here's like the old fashioned from,
Okay, cool.
it's all the cocktails from all the James Bond books and movies. And my friend bought me that for my birthday. And I had this
Mm,
idea that why not resurrect the traditional gentleman's club?
mhm.
You know, a place where men can dress up and we can have these conversations over some tasty drinks. And so, I have a good network here in Toronto. I thought might as well just interview and have conversations with my own friends. And that's exactly what I did. I filmed my first episode in January of 2024 and then posted it a few months later
Mhm.
and did that. And then, yeah, when I was laid off, I transitioned to shorter form content. So 8 to 12 minute videos because I realized I could go farther, faster with that,
Yeah.
and then maybe do long form content in the end. But no, in the beginning, I didn't really have any idea that I'd be making money off this or anything. I just kind of knew I needed to do something and explore a creative passion of mine.
Yeah. Well, we actually began at a very similar time because I posted my first video in September 2023. So only
Okay.
just a few months before, really. And so many men will experience that feeling of, I think it happens like a few years into your 20s when you've
Mhm.
been working corporate for a little bit of a while. Because when you first go into the office, you feel like fucking Patrick Bateman. You're like,
You
great,
really
this is
do.
cool. I'm in this skyscraper. I've got like the clothes on. Everybody's talking business. I'm in meetings, taking notes. It feels cool. And then after a couple of years, you look around and you go, I don't want to be that guy, that 40-year-old guy who's here all day and his wife hates him and
Hmm.
he's miserable. I don't want to be this guy. But what do I do? There's no obvious escape routes for anybody. Was that the first thing that kind of came to mind for you? Was this gentleman James Bond type thing, or did you have any other business ideas or side hustles that you tried and didn't succeed?
No, initially in 2023, when I had this realization, my initial thought was, I just need to get out of Canada and I need to leave the
Mm,
firm. And so that's why I was actually looking at Dubai, because I have a friend in Abu
mm,
Dhabi and I had a call with him. I'm like, I just need to get out. I can't deal with the things going on here. It doesn't look great. And then my job was just getting increasingly more stressful. So I looked at moving there, but the issue was if you move to Dubai, you're still going to be working like 10, 12, 14-hour days. You're not taxed as much or if any, but you're still going to be working for someone else. And I knew that ideally I wanted to work for myself and figure out something there. And I always had a passion for fashion and this kind of classy, elegant, gentleman's lifestyle. I just didn't know how to turn that into something. And then I started kind of doing some research. Saw a lot of people on Instagram doing
yeah.
kind of gentleman's lifestyle and that kind of thing. I'm like, oh, I wonder if I can do something video oriented here because
Hmm.
I didn't have a lot of money at the time, still don't. All my money's going back into this business, but I had my voice, so I was like, okay, I'll do something there, and then that's what led me
Yeah.
to the podcast, and then now the shorter form content.
That's so similar to how I started because I was looking at YouTube as like Gentleman's Gazette or Hugo Giacomet, and these guys, they're older, they've got huge wardrobes, and I remember thinking, well, I don't have all of that stuff, and I'm not going to have that stuff for the foreseeable future, so I guess I can't do a YouTube. It was actually my girlfriend at the time who said, well, maybe you don't need to have the clothes, you can just talk about it. And I thought, well, I guess what else am I going to do? I also didn't feel comfortable doing like the kind of cringy shit that I do now, where, it's like a video and I'm posing and showing off the outfits, drinking the coffee. Like we've all seen those kind of videos. I just felt like I
Mhm.
couldn't do that at first. So I had to just, my background is in more journalism. So I
Okay.
felt like, well, if I was more of a TV presenter, like a news anchor, I can do that. That feels okay. And then we go from there.
Yeah, I thought in the beginning, like, who's going to listen to me? Who,
Yeah, everybody feels that. Yeah.
but I saw these people again blow up on Instagram. I saw some YouTubers, and I can't remember when I saw your channel, but I did see it earlier on, and I was like, okay, people are clearly willing to listen to others. Maybe the value is not necessarily that I'm coming at this from like an expert position, but that I'm wanting to kind of grow and transform, and I'm going to share what I know and share what I learn along the process. And that's kind of how I frame my channel. I do have this background in fashion. I can speak to that, but a lot of the topics that I do, I'm learning as well with other people. I'm not at this kind of finish line on my gentleman's journey speaking to people. I'm growing with you, and I'm sharing that
Yeah.
journey along the way.
I completely agree, and I think it makes sense now that people would like that. At the time, it didn't make sense. I felt the same way. Like, why would anybody listen to me? But I suppose it's like having a friend or a brother that's going through it with you, rather than And I love these channels, and they've been on the podcast. But like Ask Oki, it's very much like
Mhm.
I'm the professor, I'm the teacher, you're the students. Whereas what we do is maybe a little bit more like the guy that you would go for a drink with after work who's a little bit more knowledgeable about something or a little bit more passionate than you are.
Exactly. I think your video just went
Yeah.
down, by the way. Oh, there
Yeah,
we go.
I
Come
when
back up.
I was doing my hand gestures and my iPhone is like, "Oh, you can turn on hand gestures if you want." I don't even know what that means. I just got the new iPhone, the
Okay.
17 Pro
Do you like
Max,
it?
and I do. I have to say I'm pretty technophobic for a content creator. So I was running off the iPhone 13 until a few days
13.
ago. Yeah, I know.
That's crazy. I've
And I
got
still
the
have this. Which one do you got?
I have the 16 Pro Max,
Okay. Yeah.
and it was great. But I just did that glass. update, the new glass appearance.
Hmm.
And I'm talking about with the apps and liquid glass. That's what it's called
Yeah.
for Apple. And it just messed up everything. It reorganized my entire phone, and it's kind of glitchy now.
I think they do that on purpose. I think they
Yeah,
mess it up so you go buy a new one.
I know I shouldn't
But
have done that.
I always had this like stingy part of me that never wants to upgrade or buy the latest thing. So I really put it, I was thinking about it for like 2 weeks, and then I decided, well, look, if I don't buy one of these, like as somebody who makes a living
Hmm.
off his phone, and I don't use a camera either, I use my phone.
Oh,
I
okay.
thought, yeah, okay, if I'm not buying this, then who the hell is? And then I go to the Apple store and it's like, just swarmed with people buying the new phone, buying the new phone. And I thought, yeah, okay, I don't feel so bad about it now. Like these people are probably just buying it to play Candy Crush. At least I'm actually buying it as a legitimate thing to use in business.
It's a business expense. You can write it off.
It is a business expense, exactly. I do find that people you'll use that phrase to justify purchases all the time, and it's almost like they forget that you are the business. Like, oh yeah, but it's just a write-off. I'm like, yeah, of my own profit.
Hmm. That is true. Yeah.
What do you think has been some of the personality traits or the habits you have that have helped you be organized and disciplined enough to turn this into a business and make a success out of it? Because so many people try and they'll
Mhm.
do one or two videos and then that's it, you know?
I think I'm ambitious, and yeah, it's like what you said, being disciplined and just committing to something and then seeing it out. Also, one thing I learned in corporate too, which really helped me, was I'd say two things. One was staying calm in chaotic situations. Like my days in corporate were just putting out fires all day, every day. And it was exhausting, but it trained you to just stay calm. Don't get stressed out. Don't be nervous. Just keep going. So I think that was one thing that helped me. And then the other thing too was when I went into corporate, I would have said that I was more excuse oriented, but corporate working at Deloitte rechanged my brain to be solutions oriented. So instead of showing up
Mm.
and saying, we can't do this because of this big reason, it's okay, what's the workaround? How can we get around this? How can we find a way to get it done? Even if it's not perfect, we just need to keep going. And I think that kind of mindset of whatever it takes to get it done is something that really helped me with this YouTube channel. The other thing too is like I would look at these people on Instagram and YouTube and look at their lives, and I'm like, I can't stay here in corporate. I have to do something like this. So I felt this kind of draw, this calling towards this YouTube life and this particular lifestyle.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like it's a great vessel to get to express whatever interests you have. And mine have evolved a lot as well, where a
Yeah,
lot of the content that I make now like isn't really the same as what it used to be.
that's the
And
fun
there's
thing,
some,
though. Yeah.
yeah, 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 and there's some backlash against that, obviously, of people that just want you to keep repeating yourself. But yeah, as you evolve as a person, and I've also found that it's like a steroid for self-improvement. Like
Mhm.
the amount of personal growth that I've had over the last couple of years, I don't think it would be anywhere near the same level if I hadn't gone on the content journey.
Well,
What's
it's
that
cool
been like for
because
you?
yeah, it's what's been good so far, but it's cool to see someone like you that's been in the game longer, and you can see your journey. You have these videos you can go back on 2 years ago, and you're like, that's
Yeah.
where I was, and you know what you were going through, and then now you can see all the changes and all the good things that have happened. And I think part of YouTube, part of being a content creator or an influencer, whatever you want to call it, it's natural to want to change and to change your content. If I think if it stays the same, it just becomes uninteresting. Your content should grow and evolve just like you.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah, and for me, I mean, I've only been doing this. I've been putting out 3 videos a week for 2.5 months. And then prior to that, I started in January putting out these shorter form videos, and still very much so in my early days. still just trying to get this to a place where I'm making a full-time income and can grow there. But already just the fact that I'm okay starting to buy nicer clothing for some of my videos, or the fact that I'm sitting down here across from you having this conversation shows that things are already in motion, right? And things are already evolving. Brands reaching out, and it gives you a sense of hope. And I'd say that's probably the biggest thing that I have so far is, and that the biggest difference so far from when I started is it gives you that sense of hope, that sense of opportunity to keep going and to keep trying this because, I've just crossed over 24,000 subscribers and,
Amazing.
yeah. And, future's bright. So we'll see where I am November 8th, 2027 or 2026, and see
Yeah,
where
absolutely.
we are. But do you remember when you had 24,000 subscribers?
Yeah. I can tell you, it would have been probably February to March, 2024.
Okay.
Yeah, because
And it's,
I was just moving to Chicago around that time. Yeah, and it was
oh,
about
okay.
20K.
And
Yeah.
is that when did you have the hyper growth? Because I think you hit that a month or something. I remember hearing somewhere where it just took off.
That was like the month after, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean,
And
I suppose there's a couple of months that were like hyper growth, but March was insane. March was insane for me.
so you went
Yeah.
from around 20, 30 to what?
I went from around 15, 20 to 60.
Wow.
Yeah. And there
And is
was
that
like two or three videos in 1 month that had over 1 million views.
that's crazy. That's awesome
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
But that's the
It's
cool thing
fun,
with
yeah.
YouTube is that just like that, it can take off.
It can, yeah, and you never know when it's going to happen.
Mhm.
And especially in the early days, you can just feel like it's never going to happen. And then I remember the first video I had that got maybe like 50,000 or 100,000. I was so close to not posting it because I thought my hair didn't look very good in the video. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to refilm this and all of this. Um, Probably if I had have done that, the growth might have been a lot slower. So
Yeah,
you
it's the
never
same.
really know what's gonna work. Like,
I
or
was,
you don't really know what's good.
I was gonna say the first video I had that really went viral and hit 100,000 views was one that I was in a rush to do. I remember I was hopping on the train to go home and had to wake up super early to film
Hmm.
this video. And I was like, "Oh, I don't want to do this. I'm just gonna push myself to do it." Did it, and it blew up. And I was like, "Well, thank God I actually posted it
Yeah.
because it helped me get that initial bump of I think a few thousand subscribers in my early days back in March or April this year. So yeah, it helps. Anything helps. Any video helps. Even the bad ones that only get a couple hundred or a couple thousand, you learn from that. And
Yeah.
I'm still in my early days and still trying to fight the algorithm a little bit to try and get the correct audience. Uh, but it's been an interesting journey so far.
What you just said there about I was going home, so I woke up early to film this. I think that's one of those things that really separates people that are successful in this game from the people that aren't, is those who are, you could so easily have made the excuse that day of, oh, well, I couldn't film because I had to go to see my parents. Instead, that was your non-negotiable of like, no matter what else happens on this day, I will be doing this. Yeah, and you
Mhm.
see this with I think fitness is a great metaphor for everything else as well. It's like the guys that will make the excuse because they can't work out because they're tired or they have to do this or the gym was not nearby, versus the guys who are
Yeah.
like, I don't care what else happens today. We are doing chest today because today is Monday. And on Mondays we do this.
Well, that's exactly it. And you find a way to get it done, right?
Yeah.
In the gym,
Yeah.
any workout is better than no workout. And same with videos.
Exactly.
Like any video that you post is better than no video, even if it gets a couple hundred or a couple thousand views. And you just
Yeah.
use it as a learning experience.
Yeah, and I think people shouldn't be afraid to like raw dog their way through life. Not in the literal sense, but like, okay, the lighting isn't very good. We're still going to film the video. Okay, this gym, like we don't have the best equipment, but we're still going to do the workouts. Just finding a way to do stuff. Probably like what you learned from being a consultant as well. It's like
Mhm.
there always is a way. It might not be the best way that you'd ideally like, but that's just not the world we live in. We always have to make some kind of compromise. Like right now, it's really annoying me that the lighting is reflecting off this glass panel, and I wish I had a light right here. But what are we gonna do? Like, not do the podcast, you know?
That's exactly it. And I think that's the thing that separates those that are successful from those that are not. It's just the willingness to get up every day and put in the work regardless of how they feel. Like, yeah, there's been
Yeah.
days where, I don't feel great. The last week or two, I think I only put out 2 videos a week. So I
Hmm.
missed 2 weeks there, but we're back at it now. Pick yourself back up and keep pushing. And I work now probably 6 days a week for 12-hour days just to
Oh
get this
wow.
done.
Wow.
Because I do everything myself. I do everything
Yeah.
myself. I film, script, research, and edit the videos. I'm hoping to try and get an editor soon, but it's limited money. You just have to figure it out. So,
Yeah. I didn't feel I didn't have an editor for like the first year.
oh yeah,
And
okay,
I still do plenty of editing myself as well because
okay.
I enjoy it. And sometimes you have a vision, right, for what you want the video to look like. And it can be hard to articulate that. Or if I do a traveling thing, it's like, well, only I was there to put that story back together.
Mhm.
What would you say takes up the most time for you in that, let's say that's what, probably like a 70-hour week, 72-hour week. What
Mhm.
would you say is the kind of the time split of the different major tasks?
Yeah, I would say so. Takes me about 2 days to produce a video, but I also work comfortably. I'm not there, you know, grinding and sweating over what I'm doing. I'm comfortably working. So maybe that's it. But what day one is I research and I script, and that usually takes maybe 6 to 8 hours. Again, I'm taking breaks in between too. And then day two, I revise, film, and then edit. And I would say editing is probably the most grueling because
Yeah.
it's very tedious, and I'm so used to having an editor because again at Deloitte when I was there, I had a whole team. Like I had a copywriter and an editor, so my job was just to project manage and set the strategy and direction. So I'm doing everything now, and I'm having to learn different editing skills and everything about the software. And okay, here's how to hold people's attention throughout, but I don't want to throw too much at them. And
Hmm.
thumbnails is another whole thing, and then titles and descriptions and keywords. But it's fun learning all of this stuff. And I think if I do get an editor, whenever that happens, it's still very important to go through that and to learn that stuff on your own and have those
Hmm.
skills. Because then when you're talking to an editor, then you understand what they're able to do and what they're not able to do.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Even with editors now, like if an audio comes back not very good, I don't say improve the audio. I say add this effect at this level and this effect at this level, and then it will sound good. It
Mhm.
helps you communicate with people a lot better. And there's
Yeah.
also a lot of entrepreneurs or a lot of content creators get in this trap of overly delegating and like overly spread ruining their own profit margin, like spending all of their income on hiring people because they don't want to do things themselves. um, and then there's like nothing really left over, and they're not actually that involved in the creation of their business anymore.
Well, you said that you do most of the editing yourself and you have a
Mhm.
bunch of different ventures. Like, how do you stay on top of all of it and still also do the
Yeah,
editing yourself?
I don't really work very much, to be honest. I probably work like 5 hours a day max.
Okay. That's
Um,
that's the dream.
I am hyper focused when I work. Like,
Okay.
you don't, like, nobody can. I mean, I get up really early, and my before my phone is turned on or before like I speak to anybody, I've got like two or three really important things that I'll get done that day. And those might include filming a video. I don't really script word for word anymore. I think that
Mhm.
does save a lot of time. So
Yeah.
I think a lot of my work is done when I'm not really at work, Like I'm out at the gym. Oh, I've got this idea for a video. Okay, I'm gonna start writing down a few bullet points. So when I actually sit down to film, it's more lucid and I don't have to spend the time scripting. I used to, though. I used to script everything word for word. I think I just got more comfortable speaking candidly. Then when it comes to editing, if I'm doing it myself, it's going to be a pretty bare bones edit, so it won't really take me that long. And I think I just got quick at Premiere Pro. Like I've been using the software for a long time now.
Hmm.
Or if it's an editor, like the editor that I do have, I've been working with him for over a year now, so we're very much on the same wavelength, and I know that he'll do a great job. So a lot of my time actually spent making content would, sorry, time that I spend working would be stuff that isn't necessarily the content. It would be things like making a course for my community, doing group calls with my community, messaging people within the community, or working with clients more on a one-to-one level,
Hmm.
or working on product ideas. I also have a newsletter that I write, and I take a lot of pride in the fact that I write that myself. There's no
Hmm.
ghostwriter, there's no AI, so I do that. But yeah, overall, like none of this stuff really takes me that long. But there was a period of my journey when I was working literally the exact schedule that you just said. That was also my personal schedule. But I think I was also doing that, and I don't know if this is true for you, but maybe this is something to think about. I think I was doing that partly because I felt like that's what I had to do. Like I was listening to people like Alex Hormozy, and it's like if you aren't working 6 hours, 6 days a week, 12 hours a day, you're not doing enough. But I think that it's very easy to find a way to fill that when maybe it isn't necessary as well. So I actually began working around the other way of like, if I had a medical issue and I could only work 2 hours a day, what would I do? Like to still keep things running at the same level or to maybe even grow them? What would I get rid of? What would I become more efficient at? What would I focus on?
Hmm.
And when I started to kind of move those levers, not only did I not have to work as much, but I also think the quality of my work got better because I got to do more stuff in my life. Like I was able to spend more time reading, which would give me ideas, um, having conversations with people, which gave me ideas, working on myself, whether that's going boxing, playing more guitar, working out more, just getting more sunshine and being a generally like healthier, happier person
Hmm.
because it got to the point where I literally would just be in my apartment making videos all day, and then I'm like, would I want to be me? Like,
That's me
even
right
making
now.
this content.
That's yeah.
But
That's
I think it's a phase. It's a
I agree.
stage that you go through, and I totally respect what you're doing. I really do.
Thank you.
But I think that the future where you're working less and getting even more results out of it is not necessarily that far away. Yeah.
Yeah, the reason why I work so much right now is I'm just trying to get my channel to a point where this is making a decent living, and then I can actually take a step back and like I do 3 videos a week right now. I'd like to do two max. If I can get it down to one, that would be great, and focus more on shorts,
Hmm.
which I have yet to do. Uh,
Oh, okay, yeah.
so I definitely need to do that. And the other thing too is when you're working so long, and I don't know if you felt this in your early days, you risk burnout easily. And I think that's kind of what I'm feeling a little bit like the last couple weeks. I was just feeling burnt out, and it's also winter here. I'm not really seeing my friends as much because it's hibernation season, but I'm just kind of using it as an opportunity to build my channel, get it to a place where I'm making a good living, and then I'll probably step back and start to increase the quality of my own life, which I think will then translate into higher quality videos and all of these things. And I think bringing on an editor will really help me, and
Hmm.
I'm hoping to do that in the next couple months. But yeah, I you can't burn out. You can't uh, not take care of yourself because that will absolutely translate into your your videos, and people will see that in your
Yeah.
content. So you need to take care of yourself because you are the brand,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. And I think it evolves as well of like maybe right now people don't know that much about you away from the YouTube videos. But there will come a stage when they do or you want to. So I'd say like one of the most effective things that I could do on any given day is just post Instagram stories,
Mm,
because that is where my most engaged people are looking, and I get to be in their heads all day. So when I do want to, monetize that, because you can't, you don't get paid to make an Instagram story, but you can use them to promote a product or something like that. That is one of the most effective ways to sell something.
mhm.
So to do an Instagram story, like I don't have to really work. I just have to go and do my life and take people with me. And it's a bit of a pain sometimes, oh, I forgot I got to do a story, or whipping the phone out and talking to the camera. It can feel super cringe,
Yeah.
but it's kind of not really work, I suppose.
Yeah, and you can find different ways to do it. Like I remember I saw one of your Instagram stories when you were out golfing, and
Yeah,
it was like
literally.
that's the dream. Just whip out the phone, take
Yeah.
a quick video, and you know hit a great drive.
Hopefully, hopefully.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, oh, shit, we'll have to redo that one. Towed it into the rough.
Oh no, I just sliced it. Yeah, no. That's the dream though, is to
Yeah,
get to a
exactly.
comfortable schedule where you can do the things that you want to do, like golfing and like all of these other activities, while also continuing to build a brand that you really care about. So
Yeah.
I don't know, at what point did you feel like it was more manageable, where you could do like golfing and like all of these
Mm.
things? Like when did you
I think
transition
that,
from
yeah, I
intense?
think that started to happen around this year. Um, when I remodeled, I had a community for quite a while because I began doing in-person events pretty early on. And then I realized that people would want that same sense of community and getting to meet like-minded people all over the world, really.
Hmm.
So I decided to launch a community, which was my first real thing that I had aside from YouTube, because YouTube pays you, but it doesn't pay you that well, really, compared to the work that you're putting in. So I realized, well, I think the turning point was when I began to monetize away from just YouTube. Um, because then also Instagram can feed into that, email newsletter can feed into that, and you start to really own your people and have a community and a tribe rather than just YouTube viewers, whom you don't really know anything about. So that was when that began to change for me, and that was about a year ago now.
Okay.
So this year has been like very distinctly different for me, um,
Mhm.
compared to the previous year. I was still working full time till relatively late in though. I was still working the full time when I had 100K subscribers.
Oh wow.
And yeah. And I quit around that time, but I did give it a few months where I was actually trying to get fired from my job because I thought, well, if they fire me, they will give me severance
Mhm.
or some kind of redundancy. And they were laying people off as well, like what you had. So I thought, okay, well, I'll probably be next. I'll get a little payout and it'll be great. But they never did. Even though I was like totally slacking off, making YouTube videos during the working day, but yeah, they never fired me. So eventually I thought, okay, well, I'll just quit. And I wasn't making a lot of money at that job. It was pretty average salary. So it wasn't too hard to let go of because it wasn't, my dream career. And it was like, whatever happens, I could go back to this, but I really don't want to anyway. So like, what have we got to lose? And I think that's a big thing for men especially in their 20s. It's like this idea of risk or the fear of loss. It's like, what are you really going to lose? Like, if you don't
Mhm.
have kids, you don't have a family that's depending on you, all you have to worry about is you, then it's not really risk that you fear. It's actually just comfort. You fear the lack of security.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I think a lot of men don't want to change their lives or change their current lifestyle, and especially in today's day and age where there's so much uncertainty, that a lot of men don't want to take on additional risk and shake up their lives even more. But sometimes you need to do that. You need to take the risk and post the video or start the business, because you don't know where it's going to take you. And even if it fails miserably, like if I started this YouTube channel and no one watched it, at least I would know. But I just knew that I
Yeah.
couldn't get to 40 years old looking back over my life and wonder what if. So I just had to do it. And I
Yeah,
thought my thought process was it's going to be crap in like the entire first year is just going to be a
yeah,
learning experience and it's going to be
yeah.
crap. But do one full year and we'll see where we get to. And then maybe like I started again, my channel was called something else. I changed it to a different name and then I changed it to my name. So
Hmm.
I've changed and pivoted so many times. I just got used to that. So I think a lot of men need to
Yeah.
do that and just find the passion and find something outside of work. Could be anything.
As you found out as well, the 9 to 5 is not exactly risk free. Like as you mentioned, people were getting laid off.
I was
People
saying
were getting laid
also,
off in my
yeah.
industry. I was working in mainstream media, and
Okay.
I was actually using an AI to write my articles for me toward the end so that I could do my YouTube. So it's like, look, I already have replaced myself with an AI. It's only a matter of time before you guys figure that out as well, you know?
Hmm.
So I think that security of the traditional path, I don't see it as really that secure. And a lot of the middle class white collar jobs these days, the salary that they pay you compared to the cost of living, compared to the cost of housing, it's not exactly a great deal. So it's
Not
like
at all. No.
even if you're really successful in the traditional sense, is that really the life you want? Is that really like the max that you feel like you can achieve? I just felt like definitely not in my case.
Yeah, and I totally relate to that. Again, when I was in corporate, it was almost this adversarial relationship between yourself as an employee and then the employer. And they're just trying to pile on more and more work on your plate while also trying to do as much as they can to pay you as little as possible.
It
So,
literally is, yeah.
and it's like, well, that's not good. Like the social contract between the employee and the employer should be that I work hard for you and you take care of me. But that's just not the case these days because they just don't have to. There's no pressure to do that. And then, like you said, in in the West, at least, like you just don't make that much money. Cost of living is off the charts. And then, especially in a place like Canada, our taxes are so high. And it's like that doesn't go to anything that benefits me or any of
Hmm.
the younger generations, I think. And so we're looking at this bleak economy and this bleak country for the next several decades. So a lot of my friends, we all want to leave and go someplace else,
Hmm.
which is sad.
Where are you
But
thinking?
well, like I said, my heart's in Europe, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It depends on where I can get a visa. Uh,
Hmm.
I would love to try living in London, even though I know that they have the same problems that we have here in Toronto,
Yeah.
which is unfortunate. But I have a ton of friends there. I would like to check that one out. Maybe Italy would be another one. I could
Hmm.
get a visa there, uh, or yeah, I don't know. Somewhere in Europe would be nice. Worst case, Dubai. But again, for my
Well, yeah,
brand, it kind of need
I
to be
agree.
someplace in Europe, I think.
I think with Europe as well, you know, you can live a lot more affordably. Like even if you're only making like 2,000 or 3,000 a month,
Hmm.
that's like still higher than the average European salary. Like
Hmm.
you can still rent an apartment in a city for that and go out and have your like your €2 coffee, you know,
Exactly.
outside in the morning and your €15 menu of the day. You know, it's I spent like 4 days in Madrid, and I'm like, we were out all day. I paid for everything, and I still spent a fraction of what that would have cost in the US.
Well, that's it, right? And Europe is just the lifestyle is something else. Like it's incredible. Like you said, the slow lifestyle and the culture is incredible too. Like you just walk
Yeah,
around some of these cities and you just realize how old and how much history there is. Like again, back
yeah,
to Vienna. Vienna was the seat of the Holy Roman Empire for centuries. So much
hmm,
history. Like you're walking around and you're like, "Whoa, this building was built here and this is who built the building," and you're just learning about the history. Whereas in North America, everything is relatively new, right? Or the
hmm,
oldest buildings we have are maybe 1800s or 1700s. And it's all this kind of modern architecture. So there's not really a
yeah.
connection to like the history or our ancestors that they have in Europe.
No, I felt like there was where I was in Chicago. It's beautiful in its own sense. Like I still have this as the wallpaper on my old phone. Like this was the
Oh
view
yeah.
from my apartment
Oh, very
in
nice.
Chicago. So it's beautiful in its own sense, but it's also very unnatural. And I definitely, it started to get to me of it's never dark in the sky. There's the train going by. There is, sirens and horns
Mhm.
on Wacker Drive constantly. On a biological level, my body must be thinking like danger, stress all
Yeah.
of the time. Even if I'm okay with it and I know what's going on, my body doesn't understand that. Whereas to come somewhere where there are birds in the morning, where the sky is dark at night, even in Madrid, I was in the city center of Madrid, but I look next to my apartment. There's this church that's been there since like the 1450. There's something about that that
Mhm.
just feels intrinsically good and healthy. That it's just an unfamiliar experience. In American cities, one thing I will say in defense of the US is it's so vast that you really can go to the middle of nowhere and have that kind of tranquility, which Europe is lacking just because it's so much more dense.
Yeah, I mean, every country has its, positives and negatives, and Canada's
Hmm.
an incredible country if you love nature. One of my favorite things, I live obviously in Toronto in Ontario, and we have the best cottage country in the entire world, like hands down. So if you want to take a weekend trip to a cottage in Muskoka or Kawartha Lakes, it is the most beautiful and relaxing thing. And most people here, especially growing up, had a second home in cottage country. And there's this area just outside of where I grew up. So I grew up in Kingston. There's this area called Bath and Adolphustown. And I go apple picking there every year. I was there a few weeks ago, and it's the Canadian countryside. It's very quiet. It's beautiful farmland. And like I could see myself having a home here because that's where I feel most at peace.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's every country has their ups and their downs, and there definitely is beauty here as well. But I definitely see myself moving to Europe at least for a little bit. It's just I'm not sure where yet. It depends on where I can get a visa, and ideally, I would love a path to citizenship, but I'm not totally sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know?
Wherever. Sorry,
I was going to
go
say, do you
ahead.
know where you want to end up or the top
No, I
three?
don't. I'm pretty sure it's going to be I mean, in terms of like actually having a family and children, I'm pretty sure it's going to be the US for
Okay.
me. Like the traveling that I'm doing this year is more for the experience in of itself rather than like trying to find the place. I definitely intend to go back to the US after the traveling phase is done. So I was born in America, I grew up
Okay.
in the UK. But as soon as I came back, I always just felt way more at home in the US.
Okay.
And I feel like in many ways, and a lot of immigrants will say this, or people that grew up in a different country and they come to America, I feel like what I've achieved, I very much owe to being in the US because that
Mhm.
entrepreneurial spirit, that positive mentality, that the belief that you can do something, that you can achieve your dreams, it just doesn't exist in the same way in Europe at
Mhm.
all. People are a lot more, I don't want to just say negative, but skeptical. Um, they have a lot more limiting beliefs of like, what are your qualifications? Like all of these doubts that we all have, they just exist a lot more in the mainstream consciousness in Europe. So I don't think I want my children to grow up in that environment, actually. I think I want my children to grow up with more of the American attitude. Where exactly that would be in the US, it would be somewhere hot. I don't like, it turns out, Chicago climate, not for me. So definitely not the Midwest, definitely not the Northeast. I was born in the South, actually.
Okay.
And every time I'm in the South, whether it's South Carolina, Louisiana, I was born in Alabama. I
Wow.
just love something about being there. It does really feel like home. But yeah, I've also not met the other half of that picture yet. So I think it really depends on her and where we see our family being raised together because I don't have like any real roots anywhere. I don't have any particular ties to one place. So it's really a blank slate as far as I'm concerned. And
And
that means that I'm able to be more open-minded.
where in the UK did you grow up?
A few different places,
Okay.
mostly in Wales, actually, in
Oh,
Swansea.
interesting. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, and also in a county called Staffordshire, which is like middle of the country, just outside Birmingham. I also grew up in Cheshire. So yeah, my parents move around a lot, and aside from my parents and my grandma, I'm not really close with my family.
Mm.
So it's not like we're all hanging out and in contact with each other. And my parents, um, they don't live there anymore either. So it's like,
Interesting.
well, yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely a very blank slate at this stage.
Yeah. It's, well, that's exciting though, too, because you can go anywhere.
It is.
Uh,
Yeah.
I know for me, I'd always like to have a wife and kids someday, but I don't know where I would want them to grow up. Part of me wants them to experience what I had. And
Hmm.
so I'd love them to come back to my hometown of Kingston and have my family grow up there because that's where all my family is. It's all in the
Hmm.
same area, that Kingston, that Bath area, just outside of the city. I would like them to grow up there because it really is a beautiful area. But again, my heart's set on Europe, and I could see myself living there too. Like Vienna, again, I could go back to Vienna and live there. It's just an
Yeah.
incredible spot. Like went back to Vienna in 2023 for our 5-year reunion, and all my friends flew in for this weekend. And we just went to all the old places, walked around the city again. And the fact that you can go to like a stand and get a beer and just walk around. We got a beer, sat on the Berg Theater steps, which is this big theater
Hmm.
for the performing arts right downtown Vienna. And it faces the city hall and a beautiful building. And we just sat there and had drinks and just chatted, and no stress, no
Yeah.
anxiety, just enjoying life. People are walking around. Like Vienna's not a city that's very like hustle and bustle, right? Like
Uh-huh.
it's not intense. It's but it's not empty. So it's like this great balance. Like I don't know. There's a magic to that city, I swear. I'm trying to sell
I've
it.
got to
So
go now. You are selling me. You are because I'm planning a little trip for about a month's time, and I'm thinking of either San Sebastian, which is in the
okay.
north of Spain, or maybe somewhere else.
Okay.
Because I'm in Marbella, which is like pretty much as hot as you're gonna get at this time of year. You know, it's one of the few places that has kind of summer all year round. So wherever I go, it's going to be colder. San Sebastian will be colder. Vienna will be very cold. But again,
Mhm.
as you say, this that kind of is the most magical time to go. There aren't that many places that people would say are better in winter than summer.
Yeah.
So
Vienna would be incredible for the Christmas markets. The other good time to go is February for their famous opera ball. I don't know if you've heard of that.
okay,
They
no,
have
no, okay,
they have like this very big, because Vienna ball season runs from November until February, and it's the culmination is the Vienna Opera Ball at the State Opera House. Everybody's in white tie, and it's this
hmm,
big spectacle.
wow,
It's incredible. It's on my bucket list to go. But yeah, there's a ton of balls you can go to. It's a ton of theater performances, orchestra. Yeah, I can sell this city. So if you want tips, let me know, and
yeah, definitely.
I can
I
definitely give you
appreciate it. Hey,
tips.
man, if I end up going, I'm definitely going to be hitting you up for the list
Absolutely, I might
of
fly out there as
recommended
well because I
spots.
might sell myself on a trip. I haven't had a vacation in a couple of years, so it would be nice to go
Yeah.
out there again.
Speaking of wives and kids, how are you finding dating at the moment? Are you in a relationship? Are you on the market? Is this something that you're focusing on?
Yeah, I'm single right now. Definitely open for a relationship. Wouldn't mind one, but given my work schedule where I'm working so long, it's a challenge to get out and go on dates these days.
Hmm.
And then again, all my money's going back into the business, so there's little time and little money to dedicate to taking women out on dates. The other thing too is, and I don't know how you found this in Chicago, but dating in a big city is there's an extra added level of difficulty, I think, to that.
Hmm.
And I'm on the dating apps, and they're like okay, Hinge is okay. The other one's not so much, but I find everybody here is just so busy, so into their own thing that to take time out of the day to go on a date and with someone that you met online, it's a big commitment. That's a big
It
thing to
is.
say. Hey,
Well, yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
Well, you value your time a lot right now, because every second counts.
Well, that
So it's like,
exactly.
am I going to stay in and work on a video, or am I going to go out with this random stranger
And
who
it's
might
probably not
not
going to
even
work
look like
out.
her photos?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Well, that's why you have to get the Instagram first. Yeah. Just
And I
do
think
that.
from the female perspective as well, they are, if they're using apps, they're so bombarded with opportunities to go on dates. It's like, who do they even select? You know, like
Yeah.
how do you even get through that barrier?
Well, exactly. And I think, as a guy, there's the added challenge of just being a man and having to pay for the dates, to put in all the effort. And like you just said, women have kind of this abundance of men sliding into their DMs and hitting them up. Whereas as guys, we don't really have that same opportunity. So I think there's a bigger barrier to entry for a lot of guys out
Mm,
there. And that's why a lot of guys are struggling with dating these days, especially in big
definitely.
cities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it something that you've addressed on your channel?
No, not yet. I've been focused more on gent style, lifestyle. I guess I would fall into there. But no, I haven't addressed dating yet. Might be something in the future I do, but given that I haven't been out dating, I kind of
Yeah,
want
I get
to
that.
go and do that first and then,
Field
and
report. Yeah,
exactly,
exactly.
exactly.
Yeah.
So,
No, a lot of my dating experiences kind of inspired or would inform videos because I was actually in a relationship when I started my channel, and
right.
my girlfriend at the time was even in some of the videos, which I
Mm.
do not recommend,
Oh,
because
no.
people won't let you forget it. But yeah, and I go on a date, and something would happen, or often like we'd have a conversation about the topic of dating and what their impression of men is and what their experiences are of dating, you know, younger modern guys. And what they would tell me is like, oh, okay, this is kind of like a little control group, like a little conversation panel that I'm getting from these different women. But I
Mhm.
always found, and I still ask this question, whether you're in Europe, America, UK, you ask any woman who's single what she thinks of the dating scene, and she'll always say, "Oh, it's terrible. Oh, the guys suck." I've never ever heard a positive response ever.
Yeah, that's interesting. Did you find that your Instagram or YouTube or your brand overall had a direct effect on your dating life? Like,
Instagram, yes.
did any of the women know about it before you went on dates, or did they kind of
Oh,
find
in that
out?
sense, yeah. Some of them would. Some of them would ask, like, if they say, "What's your Instagram?" I only have one, right?
Okay,
So they're going to find out. Some of them would just find it anyway. I don't even
they
know,
do
but
their
like
research.
some of these, they're like FBI agents.
Yeah.
And then some of them would have no idea. And like actually, woman that I'm dating right now, and we've seen each other a few times. I know that she knows about it, but I know that she's not really like looking at it. Like I don't think she follows me.
Mm.
I don't follow her because there's something nice about getting to know each other organically and in person rather than here is this website basically of myself,
Absolutely.
make your judgments from that because there is a difference. There's a lot of things, especially with my older videos, that was like not playing a character, but it's a very small part of who I am. And actually a lot of the women that would watch my channel before the date, they would say you're very very different actually to what you come across on the channel, and I actually much prefer you in real life to who
Mm.
you were in the videos. Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, I'm curious to know as I grow and get more subscribers and build more of a brand, how that will impact me. But like you said, I like meeting people organically as well. And I kind of wouldn't want them to know about my brand, at least not until we're past a few dates, because I don't want that to affect anything. Because
Yeah.
you obviously have this idea in your head, like, "Ooh, I'm going to build a brand. Like, these girls will see this, and I'm like, oh, I have to hit him up. He has status and this
Mhm.
he has 100K followers. Wow." but
Yeah.
but it's like you kind of don't want that too. And I think my hypothesis is that as I grow, the biggest impact will be the confidence that I gain through building something that gives me a sense of
Mhm.
purpose, a sense
Yeah.
of it gives me money, and that's going to be the biggest impact on my dating life, not the fact that I have this status or whatever.
I think that's definitely a big part of it. The passion that you have for what you do, the feeling of accomplishment, even the way that you walk into a room, I'd say is completely different. And, you know, the most men that women are going on a date with, and this is not to say anything bad about these jobs, but, imagine being a woman and it's like, first date, what do you do for a living? Oh, I work in finance. Second date, oh, I'm a consultant. Third date, yeah, I'm in finance. It's like, it must get very repetitive from their point of view. And when the guy isn't passionate about what he does and he doesn't have that ambition, then it's not very attractive. So to be able to be doing your own thing and to be making a success of something for yourself, I think not only does it make you feel better, but it also is more attractive. I will also say, like, no bullshit, that the having a large number of followers does mean that women hit you up, and some of them are very good looking and they already like you. It's like, it's kind of like playing with house money,
Yeah.
so to speak. Like they already think they know everything about you, and they already love it. And so as long as you're not totally different in person, then yeah, it helps, I guess, because you already have a lot in common. That is one thing I like about the Instagram thing for dating, or dating apps as well, is I'm a bit of a weird type of person. Like, I'm not like a generic person. So if I find somebody that's my type of weird, then that's great.
Well, that's awesome. And
Yeah.
that was also one of the motivations behind me starting this YouTube channel and going in this kind of gentleman, classy, elegant lifestyle direction, is that while I was going through this transition period where I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, I was thinking like 10 years out, when I want to get married and have kids, like what type of woman do I want?
Hmm.
The women that I interact with here in Toronto, okay, you go out to a bar, you go out to the usual spots. That's just like an everyday woman, right? Like it's a normal
Yeah,
woman.
for
Whereas
sure.
I want my ideal woman is someone that's also elegant, that's also classy, that's also interested in these kinds of things. And I'm like, what better way to find that than to build a brand around myself and
Yeah,
say, and then hopefully
absolutely.
they come to me as well, like you said,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
they're
it
already
does
into that.
happen. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
like
like a big billboard
well,
for
exactly.
yourself.
And if you're someone that's into fitness and you also want a woman that's into fitness, the best thing you can do is go to the gym and meet a woman there.
Hmm.
If you're
Exactly. Yeah.
if you want a woman that, I don't know, is into jazz music, go to a jazz club and meet a woman there.
Yeah.
Like you have to go to the same places where those women exist, and then talk to
Hmm.
them there. And for me, it's really that elegant, classy woman with the same values as me. So that
Yeah.
was
I
that was
will
another
say
motivation.
I've never dated another content creator, although I would actually like that. It would make
Okay.
filming easier,
That's
you
actually a good
know?
question. I was going to say, like, would you date
Yeah,
another
yeah.
content
No,
creator? Because I don't know if I
love to
want
do that.
that. Okay.
I would totally be down for it. I really would, because not only like is it something we have in common, but also on a practical level, like it would make content way easier of just like, hey, can you film me doing this? I'll film you. Like we would help each other, and I think it would actually make both of our content better. But obviously, there aren't that many of them.
Yeah, it's
So no.
definitely more women than men, though. I think for me too, like down the line, for my channel, it's obviously named after me, Nick Alexander. But
Mhm.
the dream and the goal would be to arrive at a place where when I am married, then it just becomes like a family channel
Ooh,
where
okay,
I'm not a
yeah.
big believer in men and like husbands and wives having two separate Instagrams. That doesn't make sense to me. I think we just kind of
Okay.
have one joint family one that we both use,
Hmm.
and we kind of post a family content on that. I think that makes
Okay.
sense.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, it
like
does. That's interesting.
because yeah, I just don't think it makes a ton of sense. It's like when you're married, like you are fused together and to form one family unit. So a better way to reflect that in the modern age than to have a joint social media account where you
It's
both
a
post.
very modern perspective. Yeah.
Yeah,
Bringing it into the digital age, the classic
exactly.
values.
Exactly,
How have you
exactly.
found it with, in terms of connecting with other men, like either just like-minded guys or maybe other creators or people that you look up to? How's that been for you?
Yeah, I mean it's been interesting so far. I find that the biggest change is a lot of people in my comments and then sliding into my DMs have been trying to connect. And so I'll message
Hmm.
them there, and that's been really great, especially when people slide in and they say, I love your content. This has really helped me so much. Or this was a really good perspective that you have had. I love this. And the cool thing too is that it's men from multiple different countries and across all ages, which I never would have
Hmm.
thought. Like, I always thought that
Yep.
I'm 30. I just
Yeah.
turned 30 a couple months ago. I would have thought that only 30-year-olds would be really interested in my content, give or take 5 years. But, I have people on my channel that are like over 55, 55,
Yeah, yeah,
60. And
like
they're like,
70, 80. Yeah.
actually, when that first video that hit 100,000 views blew up, one of the issues with it was it skewed so older, like 55 plus. So all of my audience demographics reflected that. And I was like, oh no.
I have the same thing. Even though
Yeah.
my channel is called Gen Z, the average age is like 35,
Yeah.
40.
But that's good. Yeah. For me,
Yeah.
it's like 25 to 45 is what I'm looking for. But yeah, no, I think that's cool because you're uniting men across all generations and countries with the same
Hmm.
mindset and the same values and same beliefs. And I think
Yeah.
that's cool. I would like to start doing something more in person
Hmm.
as well, and meet guys that are interested in that. Because I would say like my friend group here, this is one of the challenges, the reasons why I started the channel. Uh, Great group of guys here, but they're also interested in their own thing as well. So I had no idea or no way of expressing and having conversations on topics of like classy style and gentleman
Hmm.
culture with my own friend group. But since starting this and since bringing up this or growing this YouTube channel, a lot of my friends have looked at me like, "This is really cool. I like what you're doing. I
Hmm.
actually have an interest in that as well." So it kind of brought out that interest from
Nice.
the
That is
guys.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what I would have done because I moved to Chicago not knowing anybody.
Mm.
So it was only when I started hosting events that, from the 15 or 20 people that came, I really hit it off with two or three. And like, to give a specific example, one of the guys I met at the very first event, he's flying to London to hang out with me on Tuesday. We're going around Europe for a week together. So like
Nice.
he became my best friend and we literally met at that first event.
Oh, that's
But
awesome.
how else would we have met, And there's a lot of guys that have come to the events or they've even just met in the online community and they'll hang out together individually. That it's like you guys could have lived next door to each other, but you never would have known that you had so much in common unless you decided to get involved with something like this.
Well, that's exactly it. And same thing with women, right? Where they're reaching out to you because they're interested in you for the values and the lifestyle that you promote. So that's why having a brand is so important in this day and age because it
Mm.
allows you to connect with other like-minded men, no matter where they
Yeah.
are, and again, no matter the age. So one thing I'm really looking forward to is to build more of a community there. And I have some ideas of kind of how to do that down the line and how I want to do that and how that will tie into my channel. Right now, and you mentioned this as well, when you first began, you're just speaking to things
Hmm.
because that's all you really can do. It's like you have no money, you don't really, your lifestyle's in this transition from your old life to your new life. That's where I am, right? I'm
Hmm.
speaking to things. And then as you get more money and you start to build this life, well, now you start living that
Yeah.
particular way. And you can start maybe making content, going to events, or maybe more vlog content, or speaking to certain things there. So yeah, I'm excited for where we'll go in the future. I have an idea of doing maybe more experiences or something like that, and connecting with
Mm.
guys there. But I don't know. It's exciting. You can go. The thing with having a brand is you can
Absolutely.
take it anywhere, and you can do anything. You can do,
Yeah.
a group. You can do like a self-help group. You could do experiences. You could do fashion. You could do a product. You could do it all.
Yeah. Oh, I'm
Uh,
even starting to incorporate music into
yeah.
my brand because that's a passion that I have ignored for a while. And I had a few different things happen that I don't really believe in science or the universe, but I was like, something is happening here. I must take the hint,
Mhm.
I'd be an idiot not to. So yeah, even that, I got to post a short of me just playing guitar, and it got like 100K views, and people are like,
Nice.
whoa, I didn't know you could do that. I'm like, wow, you guys are being really nice for a change. Maybe I should post more of this.
Well, that's the cool thing too, is like you get to do your own unique flavor of what
Yeah,
you're doing, right? You
yeah.
have someone like we're both doing gentlemen's content, but we're doing two unique styles, two unique flavors, two unique
Hmm.
perspectives, different life experiences, and that's the really cool thing is, I don't play an instrument. I played piano growing up, but I don't do it anymore. But you do, and that's something you should absolutely incorporate
Mm,
in. And you can really take it in any direction that you'd like, and that's something that I look forward to.
yeah, absolutely. I got one more question for you, and then if you
Sure,
have 10 minutes, I would love to just chat a little bit more about the behind the
absolutely.
scenes stuff. And yeah, so you mentioned that you recently turned 30. What would be your overall reflection on how you spent your 20s?
Hmm. My twenties were a decade of challenges and learning. Like quite literally, when I turned 20, which was 2015 until now, so a
Hmm.
decade, I had a lot of difficult life situations and obstacles that I had to grow over. So it was a decade of learning. And
Hmm.
it's so interesting and so funny how life works out because getting laid off from the job, starting a YouTube channel, it finally feels like that decade of challenges and learning or challenges and
Hmm.
obstacles is finally kind of drifting away. And now it's a decade of
Yeah,
not a decade of survival anymore, but a decade of thriving is on the horizon.
great.
So
Yeah,
I
I love
think,
that.
yeah, I think looking over your 20s are a time to put yourself out there, to make mistakes, to meet as many people as possible and try as many different things. And just don't be afraid of failing. Because what matters is just whether or not you can pick yourself up after each failure and keep moving forward.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I see it as like it's kind of pre-season for men as well. I mean, a lot of guys kind of cash in their chips in their 20s, and they do settle down in one career and get married and have a house. But a lot of the most successful men that I look up to, at least, like their life hadn't even begun when they were my age. They were very
Mm.
much in training in pre-season. Um, so just be aware, I think, of how young you are as well as a man. Like it's easy to feel like time is flying by and you're running out of opportunities and you're getting old. But it's like, man, you could still be 40 and single and killing it. It's okay. It's okay,
Yeah.
It's
Well, that's
okay.
the thing is my two best friends that I grew up with in my hometown, both married, both have kids. We're all the same
Hmm.
age, but they both have children, still live in my hometown, and I love them. Like they're
Yep.
like brothers to me. But I just chose a different path, and I knew that I had to go and experience the world. And yes, I do want a family and have kids, but I also knew that I wanted to build something and try something first and to go and travel. And that's why I'm so thankful I had all those opportunities to travel and to meet people. And now I have friends basically all across the world, which is pretty cool that I can call up and see what they're up to. Maybe I'll come visit them. So I think as a guy, your life starts at 30, right?
Yep.
And as long as you don't screw up your life in your 20s, then you'll be fine in your 30s. But even if you do, learn from it, get back on the horse and keep going because your 30s I think are the best time of your life for a guy.
Hmm. Interesting. Well, I'm only 27, so I can't say yet, but we'll
Well,
find
there you
out.
go. You have a
Thank
lot of
you.
life ahead of you.
I got a lot of life. And I feel like for me at least, time is going slow. Like to
Is
think I
it?
turned 27 in April, that feels like a long, long time ago. Yeah, life feels pretty
Yeah.
slow for me. Yeah.
Interesting.
Maybe it's all the cigars. I don't know.
Yeah. And all the golfing.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, Nick,
Awesome.
thank you so much for joining me. I'm so glad that we got to finally connect and have this conversation. Where's the best place for people to go so they can check out your channel and connect with you?
Yeah, it's just Nick Alexander on YouTube. and then on Instagram as well. I'm getting my Instagram up and running, so there might be a
Hmm.
couple changes there, but the best place to go and find me is just Nick Alexander on YouTube. It'll pop up. You'll see my face there. So just click on that one,
Brilliant.
and that's great. But thank you so much for having me. I
Oh, my pleasure,
appreciate
man.
you reaching out.
Really enjoyed this. Really
Yeah.
enjoyed this.